The conventional science that we have learned is a science of victimization, meaning that there are forces outside of us that control who we are, such as our genes. The new science reveals quite a different story. It says that our genes are controlled by our perceptions, how we respond to the environment. So it says if we change our perceptions, then we change our genetics. And when you understand that, then all of a sudden you realize that you are actually a master of your biology, because you're the one that's free to change your beliefs and your perceptions and your emotions. And when you do that, you're in charge of changing your own genes. But some people don't want to hear this, because in the end it says, then we are personally responsible for our lives. In multiple personality, you change your mind from one person, and actually then you're like somebody very different, another person. So at first they were just thinking it was just the mind, the psychology was changing. But when they actually looked at the body, they found that the body would change when the mind would change. You can have an allergic reaction, let's say, to strawberries in the one personality, and when you switch the other personality, that personality has no allergy. They can eat all the strawberries. But when they switch back in 1 or 2 minutes to the original personality, just one strawberry will cause a big allergic reaction. So it says, when your mind changes, you change your biology as fast as you change your mind. Most of the healing is called the placebo effect. You can give a person a sugar pill. If they believe it's the real pill, they will be healed. And the point was, so what healed them? Not the pill, the belief of healing. What most people are not familiar with is something called the nocebo. And the nocebo is a negative thought, is equally powerful, but it takes you in the opposite direction. A positive thought can heal you, a negative thought can kill you. There are two parts to the mind. The latest development of the mind is just behind your forehead, and it's called the prefrontal cortex. This is the seat of consciousness. Consciousness, self-consciousness, is your personal identity, your connection with spirit, your source. This is you. The rest of the brain is called the subconscious brain. The subconscious brain is more like a tape player. It records experiences, and when you push the button, it plays the tape. Science has now recognized that we are not running our life with our conscious mind. We only run our life 5% with a conscious mind. 95% of our life comes from the subconscious habits. People may ask, how do I know what my subconscious beliefs are? Because I got them before I was 6. Here's the fun answer. You don't have to go backwards to find out what your subconscious beliefs are. Remember, 95% of your life comes from the subconscious programs, meaning your life is a printout of your subconscious programs. The things that work in your life, you have programs in your subconscious that give you those good things. The things you struggle with, the things you have to work hard for. Why are you working so hard for it? And the answer is because in your subconscious you have beliefs that don't allow you to go there. And so your conscious mind is trying to struggle against the belief of the subconscious mind. The human mind is programmable. The leadership of the governments of the world have known this for hundreds of years. So basically it says if you want to control a population, then you give them beliefs of limitation. beliefs that disempower them. Because when they are disempowered, when their beliefs are, I can't do that, or I'm not good at this, or that's impossible to do, when we say that in our subconscious mind, then we create a life that exactly matches that belief.
That is a choice that someone can make. If you're making that choice consciously, okay. But I say that most people aren't even aware that they're making that choice.
The messages that we get today from the government and from the media is that we should be afraid because the world seems to be falling apart and everybody is getting nervous. And we must be very careful of that, because when we live in fear, we give up our power. And so what I'm trying to get people to understand is this: I'm not afraid of the world falling apart, because if it doesn't fall apart, we're going to go extinct. So I welcome the falling apart, because this gives us an opportunity to create a better world with new ideas and new visions, and not the old ones that the current institutions are holding.
I'm not alone in this field. I'm sharing it with you. So you are now experiencing something inside. See that smile that it gives you? Something inside that says, hey, I remember this. This is me vibrating as light. This is me vibrating healthy. This is me returning to my natural joy state of balance. Any imbalances, which tend to include pretty much most health challenges, if appropriate, vibrate out of your system. Right where I hold my hands here is what triggers her abdominal response. Now, as we see, nothing is separate.
The pain was gone. But how was that possible? And what did he mean with fields?
We have been led to believe that we live in a physical, mechanical world, so that we emphasize the material realm and don't give much credit to the invisible realm of energy. Well, in 1930, this whole belief system changed, because that's when we understood the nature of quantum physics. And quantum physics says that everything is energy, even including what we see as matter is energy.
Underneath what we know, what we see, are fields like the gravitational field, like the electromagnetic field, like the various quantum fields, and like what we come to know nowadays also, like fields of information.
Erwin Laszlo told me that the American scientist Cleve Baxter had run an experiment by putting a lie detector on a plant in his office.
He noticed some curious things, that the plant seemed to react to what's happening to him. And at one point, when he was almost had an accident, the car almost ran over him, the plant had a tremendous reaction at that very moment, even though he was away from it. It seems that the plants are perceiving through this information field what is happening, not only in their immediate surroundings, but with people and with things with which they are connected. Even when you cut off a part of your body, like a hair or the nail, it's never completely separated.
All points seem to have come out of a single point that used to be at the center of our universe that supposedly exploded, the Big Bang. Then all points, all particles, all things in the universe are correlated. All things are entangled.
Everything is linked with all things, and all things form one enormous dynamic whole. We call it the cosmos, the universe, and that is our home.
There is a belief in our world that our thoughts and our consciousness are part of a chemical reaction that comes from the brain. And it's sort of suggesting that, for example, when you're listening to the radio, the show comes from inside the radio. But just like the radio, the brain is actually receiving information and then translating it into our physical expression. So the brain is important, but it is not the source of information. The invisible energy field is information.
The totality of this information What is it? It's in the Akashic field. This is a cosmic information field. It has everything. It has a memory of all that happened. It has the potential to evolve further. Isn't this a good description of what in the tradition we have called the mind of God? The universe is more remarkable than thought. It also has consciousness. It even has a divine consciousness.
This is one of the most important part of our evolution right now, is that realization that God doesn't need to be some strange entity or some strange force that, you know, is outside of creation. It actually is creation itself. It's actually the structure of space itself. It is everywhere and it feeds everything. In order to connect with the source of creation, we must go towards the center. We must go towards inside, which is what all of the masters that have walked the earth have tried to convey to human beings. Turn your senses inward. And within that singularity, at the center of your existence, at the center of all your atoms, is the connection to all things. All knowledge, all possibilities are present there.
There's a point where we can slow all of the thoughts inside of our mind, all the words, all the programs, all the ego perspectives of how you see the world. And when we do that, and we slow it down enough, we can actually create a communication link to the Spirit, who's all-wise and all-knowing and has been you forever as an energy field.
It's like getting on the internet and reading out. You didn't have to have the prior knowledge. You can pick it up from the internet. It's all there. The same way, this cosmic internet, the Akashic field, gives you the information. So, Akashic experience means reading the field.
All information, all theories, all new understanding emerges from that spark at the center of our existence.